Hey there, Reschool sisters. I am taking the time to go through some of the examples in the food diaries I've been seeing. And this is the Module 3 week in review. And I just want to commend everyone for being so open and honest in their application of the principles. But I can see that reviewing everything, there's still some ways that we can be improving. And it's great because everything's just one little step up, just taking one step at a time. So you're not feeling overwhelmed and turning on that fat switch. So just wanted to go through some of these food diaries, journals. So here is a good example of, there's a breakfast, there's vitality, there's a frittata there's some salad, and a nice hearty dinner. What I would probably say here is that instead of turning it around so that the breakfast is a smaller meal and the dinner is the biggest meal, flip it around. So still have your breakfast. If you can only stomach a smoothie in the morning, that's fine, but make sure you're having your carbohydrates, so your sweet potato, in the earlier part of the day. So instead of having a sweet potato at night where it stays in your stomach and it's, kind of doesn't really have any way for it to be burnt overnight, metabolized overnight. So, and when you look at things like strawberry milk, milk gives you comfort, strawberry is the sugar. So it means actually your body's saying you haven't eaten enough carbs today. So you've waited for your body blood sugars to drop and then given it another big spike, and the spike elicits a big insulin spike, in a release of insulin, which gives you the big sugar downer afterwards as well. Those ups and downs create fat storage. So the strawberries are great, but there's vitality in there, but there's no protein and there's no omegas. So you just got to be consistently applying these things to your day, and being organized is the biggest thing. So I can see that when we are doing the 4 days worth of preparing your meals, then you've made this amazing step up into doing the 80% of the food that gets you there so that you can have 20% of the time to relax. So here's a good another level of showing that, we've got the tuna there, we've got avocado on wholemeal toast, we've got the smoothie, the nuts, and then again, the biggest meal is at dinner with the sweet potato chips. Turn that into the lunch meal. So this is what basically sets everything up. If you look in the Hunt, Gather, Feast module, you'll see I talk about eating like a queen for breakfast, eating like a princess for lunch, and eating like Cinderella for dinner. So just flip this around. You've just got to give that roughage and that volume of food to you earlier on in the day. So it's like your stomach is being stretched all the time. And when your body feels like it's being stretched with this low calorie but high volume food, so low calorie meaning all your green fibrous vegetables and your cauliflower, that kind of thing as well, where it's kind of like negligible kilojoules. It more costs you more energy to digest these foods and keeps you fuller for longer than it does than the energy that you even took in. So don't ever think that eating less is actually going to help you lose weight. It's actually eat more to weigh less. So you need to eat yourself slim. So, and especially for this reschooler who's given me the permission to use her photos, but I just wanted to tell you that because you're a big strapping lass, tall, athletic, heavy set, heavy build, strong kind of girl, this is probably what somebody that's, not 6 foot, that's probably more around that 5'7", this would be good for them. 5'7". So you're not feeding another 4 or 5 inches of you. So then, and this is when it comes to breakfast, was toast, 2 poached eggs with cooked smoked ham, tomato, avocado, and roasted tomatoes. Awesome. Now this was a busy work day, so there was a handful of mixed nuts, and then again the dinner for the carbs and the chicken for dinner. Now if that was a lunch meal, would have been awesome. So this is really purely just running around on adrenal fatigue, again setting you up to put on weight. Isn't that crazy? So it's like you might as well have eaten a Big Mac. That's how costly eating like this is. Take me back. Okay, so, and then here, another day, so you've got your breakfast smoothie, great. I would hope there was protein powder in that. That will bump it up. Otherwise, you're just having your fruit dump. Again, a fruit dump. Then you've got your frittata, which is great. Chia pod, awesome. And then, of course, you're going for a sweet hit because you haven't eaten enough in the day with the ice bun there. And then dinner, toasted ham, cheese, avo, and red onion sanger. Now, again, would have been awesome if you had had that for lunch and had that frittata with lots of fibrous green vegetables for dinner. Okay, next reschooler. I am really loving how it goes from a bacon and egg white bread roll with high sugar barbecue sauce to I don't even know what's underneath that, but doesn't it look so much more appetizing? There's so much freshness. There's the omegas in there. There's seeds in there. There's protein. There's vitality. Yum as. This is what our body craves. And what I really love about this reschooler is that she said that she ate this sandwich and see how you can still eat these foods. Like, don't vilify the foods. You can keep on trying to make better choices each time, because bread isn't a great choice. But what you find is that when you start eating like this reschooler said she didn't even eat hardly any of the chips when normally she would devour it. Isn't that crazy? When you give your body the nutrients it wants, you don't have to use willpower to try and be good. You just don't want it. Now, on the flip side, this is a lunch meal. Now, for another strapping lass for lunch, this is a great choice, but I mean, there's nowhere near enough. So that would be like a snack. You've got to eat more for lunch. I mean, that's, a snack if you weren't feeling very hungry. In saying that, you do want to be listening to your body. So if you're not up for that, but I would say let's give your body, it's starved itself for so long. Let's throw it a whole bunch of food. Let it go, oh, wow, there's so much food coming in. I can metabolize it because I know when the next amount of food. It's kind of like when you're getting a regular paycheck, you feel a lot more relaxed about letting go of spending, don't you, when you know the next paycheck is going to come in. Whereas if you're only going to get something in one big bulk, even if you get all your money in, a month's worth of wages in one time, you're going to be a lot more frugal with it if you don't know when your next paycheck is coming, aren't you? So it's the same with your body's food. If your body doesn't know when the next paycheck is going to come, it's going to hold on to it more stubbornly. But if you keep throwing at it, like soups, vegetable soups to fill you up, as well as your protein and your vitalities, but lots of vegetables, lots of stuff, lots of lean proteins, then your body's like, sweet, there's all this food coming in, I can let it go, I can let this fat go. Whereas if you only have big dumps, like big lots of food all at once, let's say just at night, then your body's like, oh, I've been starving all day and I've had this big thing. I've got to hold on to these fat stores, because our body is constantly trying to survive. It's constantly trying to survive or put up barriers so that it can have enough fat to hold so that the pregnancy, so you can sustain a baby's weight for 9 months. Let's say maybe you're in the middle of the desert. Your body's going, right, if I have a baby, I've got to hold on to at least 9 months worth of fat onto my body. As well as if you are stressed all day and not eating, your body's going, oh God, I'm worried, there's not much food, where am I having this anxiety? There must be a famine approaching. And again, it's going to hold on to those fat stores a lot more stubbornly. Now here is an interesting contrast. So I found that with this reschooler, she does some great things. Look at that breakfast. I think, is that a hash brown or is it some halloumi? There's some fats there. Like, it's not ideal, but it doesn't matter when you're eating your avocado, you've got your vitality, and you've got your protein. Some still reliance there on sugar to get you through with the barbecue sauce. I know one of the girls does a homemade sauces, homemade chutneys would be way better an option there, because you just want to keep on training your body to not rely on that sugar. So we've got a bit of a reliance. It looks like there's a lamb and mint pizza there. Yummy. A cinnamon bun and a steak sandwich. So it is definitely a change from the regular, I suppose, you could be getting better with taking the bread out, or putting gluten in, or replacing that steak salad, and turning it into, sweet potato chips on the barbie. That'd be great. But again, for a strapping lass, it's just not enough food. And this is what I want to tell you guys, is that if you want to have a cinnamon bun roll, cool, have it, but eat the real food on top of it. Like, you should have eaten a whole steak, or tuna and salad to get your omegas, your vitality, and then have the cinnamon bun roll. Like, that's where I want you guys to really understand the adding concept. Eat your meal first, and then if you have space left over, then have the cinnamon bun roll. Now, this is a day out, like on a weekend, where it's for lunch was 3 crumb chicken wings, a handful of gems, and a can of soft drink, and freshly baked homemade bread with butters. Hey man, oh my God, who doesn't love homemade bread with butters? Awesome. But she totally has just thrown her body in the deep end, loading it down with sugar and fat, sugar and carbs, and there's no protein, there's no vitality, there's a whole bunch of caffeine and sugars. Your body's starving. And this is probably where I just get a little concerned, because, you can feel like you're trying really hard with there on the left, but you're probably doing things about 60%, because you're not fully following the adding principle. And then when something happens there on the right, it's enough to ruin all those good intentions of you during the week. And like, what I'm saying is, don't not have the butters, just have the nourishing food on top of it. So here, look at that. I mean, look at that. Look at the colors on that versus the colors on the right, with the butters and the bread and the chicken wings, And then when dinner happens like this, where it's bread and butter and ginger beer, like, I just want to say, why is it that you feel like your body is only worth eating well half the time? Why would you only give it sugar and carbs and fats and gluten? And why wouldn't you value your body enough? And it was really interesting having these conversations with this reschooler, because it was like, why did you just have a piece of fruit toast for dinner? And she said, what I've realized is that I eat in 3 different categories: when I want to plug how I'm feeling, when I eat nutritious and delicious, and when I just eat food, enjoyable but not a plug, and eaten without guilt. So this kind of awareness is freaking awesome. This is what I want to get out from you guys. And, like, for us, we'd been having these conversations with me and the reschooler. We'd been having these conversations for quite a while, where she's like, look, I know I'm overweight, but I don't hate my body. I know I need to heal my relationship with food, but I don't really think there's that much of a problem. I just give my body everything it needs. And I think when we go through this in module 3, this is the week 3 review. When we go through module 3 and we talk all about the food, then you're going to understand what you're actually putting in your body and how it's damaging it. But at least here, creating this awareness means that you're not just looking at the boogeyman in the closet the whole time.